For this next part of the build video, we're going to go over the build platform, which looks like this. And we're going to put some parts on it. But before we get to that, we need to put some motors on. And let me explain the parts that we have here. So we have the base, and we've gotten this tightened down. All these threaded rods are tight. We've got the right distance apart so that these are parallel. All right, and now we've got 5 motors on a Printrbot, and one is for the extruder. We're going to put this aside. One is for the X carriage that goes across the top, or the X assembly is what I call it. So we're going to put another motor aside. And the ones that we're going to deal with right now are Z motors and our Y motor, the motor that moves the bed platform in the Y direction. All right, we'll get to those in a second. Those are going to simply go on 2 bolts at a time. The Z's are going to go there and there, and the Y is going to go here. Now, these are just going to simply affix. We're going to put them on there with some metric bolts here. These are 8 millimeters long, and they're actually M3, which means 3 millimeter. So you can use a hex head, little Allen wrench, to do that. Now, I highly recommend a ball end on your tool there. There's reasons later why you'll definitely want one of those. So the kind that are just straight with no ball end are going to make life a little harder. These are really great, so get one of these. So anyway, that's going to be for the motors. And then we've got our Y belt guide, and those go on simply 2 608 ZZ bearings go on there, and it's a pretty tight fit, so we press those on. So I'll put that aside and show you the assembled piece. This is the Y belt guide. Those go on with 2, I believe these are, I think they're 16 millimeter M3s, so that's for that. And then we've got, these are our Y belt clips, and these affix to the board on 2 ends with 2 3/4 632 bolts and 632 nuts, 4 of them. And again, these can be replaced with metric if you like, something equivalent. And then we've got the Y bar ends. These are going to clip onto the bar, and this board is going to screw down. So those are the 4 corners of the board. So we call these the Y bar ends, and those are 1.25" 632 bolts and 634 632 nuts. And then finally, this is just a belt pulley, and it is an XL pulley. There's 10 teeth. This is one of the parts that is optional. You can kind of use whatever belt that you like. We use XL belts. They're about 1/4 inch wide, and the teeth are based off the XL standard. So you can replace this with something else, but that's what we use. And then I wanted to show you how to get this little M3 nut inside here, and then we use 8 millimeter M3 bolts that are going to go through into that nut and hold the shaft of the motor. So this is everything we need for this step. So now that we see our pieces, let's do a couple of things. First off, before we get any further, let's go ahead and tighten down these linear bearings. And so what I like to do with the zip ties still loose, and this is a really important point. This is very high, very good tolerance rod, so it's going to measure exactly 8 millimeters, maybe 7.94, something like really close. And these linear bearings are made for 8 millimeters, so you don't want to shove these in really fast. Believe it or not, the little bearings that are in there will pop right out. So when I thread these through, especially when I'm threading them through 2 separate linear bearings, I like to just give it a little wiggle, a little twist, and make sure that there's no, if it's hard to push, don't force it. But you can see once you get it through, it's like butter. butter. So over here, same thing. Don't want to force it. Give it a little twist. Go really slowly. Make sure nothing's binding in there. And then we're going to go through this one. I'm wiggling a little. Took it a second to find that. And very slowly. So now we've got our Y bars threaded through. And I know that these are going to be really straight. So now I'm going to tighten that down. Now I've got a few tools out here. Obviously we're going to need for the 632 bolts, these are Phillips heads. Use this. I've got just a regular wrench here. Sometimes I like to hold those nuts with this. Sometimes I use a little wrench. I've already showed you the Allen wrench, and this is just kind of a generic pair of pliers. Alright, so I'm going to tighten these down. I don't need to get carried away. I just need them good and tight. I kind of like these to face all the same direction. So I'm holding the top, getting those kind of tight. If you leave them too loose, you could have some wobble later. So you want to make sure they're good and tight. Those are feeling really pretty good. That one seems a little... There we go. Okay, that's good. These are loose. I'm going to move them into position here. Come here. That one's not wanting to rotate. Well, it wants to be there. I'll let it be there. So we'll tighten that. Tighten this. It's in good shape. I really like to get these good and snug. Now that they're at the tightness that I like, I'm going to cut these. And what I do is I cut these a little long so that I ever need to come in and retighten them, I got a little something to deal with. If you cut them so short, you can never adjust them again. Bugs me a little that that one's not aligned, but not that much. There we go. All right then. So there we have, we're all ready for the next stage. Okay, so we're going to